Well, we've got Des Kennedy on the line. Des, when you were here, you were telling us a bit of a yarn. I almost thought it couldn't be true. It was so remarkable. Tell us your story of someone famous you met.
Well, it's a crazy story. And I worked for NRMA, and NRMA is obviously a world-leading motoring organization. And I was head of IT, and so I did a lecture tour, which involved, the AA, the RAC in the UK, but also I spoke at the AAA conference in San Diego as the last part of the conference, and so I was in San Diego, in La Jolla, just north of San Diego, and I was there staying at the Sheraton. And I'd gone out on the Saturday for brunch with some friends and came back, and decided, around lunchtime that, I was feeling thirsty, so I'll go to the bar and have a beer. And so I wandered off to the bar, and there was the only guy in the bar, apart from the barman. And so I asked him for a beer, and he got me a Budweiser or something. I can't remember what the beer was. Probably was a Budweiser. Anyway, a few minutes later, the door opened, and in walked this massive, tall black guy, and he wandered up to the bar, and I sort of had to look up at him.
Cranky now.
Hi, man. I said, "How you doing?" He said, "Hey, I'm really good." I said, "Would you like a beer?" He said, "Wow, I'd love a beer." I said, "Well, have a seat." And said to the barman, "Hey, come over and give this guy a beer." And so he sat down, and we sort of shook hands and things. And I said to him, "Man, what do you do?" He said, "Why are you here?" I said, "Well, actually, I play basketball." Oh. I said, "Wow." I said, "That's obviously your hobby, but what's your career?" I said, "Well, actually, that is my career." So and I said, "Man, you're one of the luckiest people alive. Your job and your hobby align. So you could be a doctor and enjoy fishing, or you could be a nurse and enjoy golf, or whatever that looks like."
Yeah.
But he actually was a basketball player whose hobby was basketball. Wow. And so I said, "Man, that's amazing." I said, "Who do you play for?" And he said, "Chicago Bulls."
Oh, wow.
And I said, "Are they a good team?"
You're like, the Chicago who?
He said, they are the team. I said, oh. Right.
Sorry.
Okay. That's really cool. And so we started to talk then, and I talked about being Irish and, going to Australia and bringing 3 boys up. And he had a couple of girls, and they pulled out a cigar and lit up the cigar. And he bought me a couple of beers, and I bought him a couple of beers. And it was sort of this great conversation about basketball, the basketball world. He wanted to know about Australia, what it was like growing up in Australia, and so forth. And so after maybe half an hour of this conversation, the door burst open again, and a guy who I later found out was Scottie Pippen, who's also very famous, opened the door and said, "Hey, come and talk to the press." Oh. And I said, "Michael, obviously I maybe should know who you are. I have no idea who you are, but it's been wonderful chatting to you." Shook hands, and off he went. And so the guy behind the bar was having a heart attack. He had any idea who you're talking to. I said, "He's a guy called Michael. He plays basketball." He said, "That guy's Michael Jordan, and he earned $4 million a year." And I said, "He should have bought all the beer." So it's always. The key message is, you just never know who you're beside.
Yeah, that's right.
Take the time to talk to somebody who's beside you, because you never know who they are and what their story is.
That's amazing.
I love that.
An amazing story, but a great principle in it as well. That you can strike up a conversation with a stranger. He may or may not be famous, world famous, but you can have a great impact nonetheless.
Yeah, and everybody's got a story, right? So everybody has got something about them that's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, even you, Robbo, have got something interesting.
Even me.
Well, there's a lot of good things about Robbo.
It's so true. Hey, that's great. What a great story. I love it. And I wonder whether, obviously, I don't know if we can move any higher than the bar of Michael Jordan, but have you met someone famous? We'd love to know today if you've had an encounter with a famous person. Give us a call, and we'd love to hear your story as well on 1-800-316-316. But I've got to say, Des, that's pretty impressive to meet. And obviously the irony of it was that you had no clue who he was, which probably made it even funnier for him.
Better for him because he had a conversation with somebody who didn't know who he was,
Yeah.
so he could have a normal conversation.
Exactly.
And sort of people bowing down to him and so forth. So this just dumb Irishman who didn't know who he was.
That's awesome.
Probably refreshing. Well,
Yeah.
you're refreshing us this morning, Des. Thanks so much for having a yarn.
My pleasure, guys.